Hi all and welcome to a new video. Today we're going over the brand new Tempest Force Battleforce rules that have dropped from AMG. And they are quite intriguing. Focusing on a thematic empire list, it focuses heavily on vehicles and forward deploying your army across the field as the defenders of the shield on Endor. They include a new character and a few new command cards as well, and the character can only be taken in this battle force, which I actually find a little interesting, especially since the character is just kind of a replacement for a generic ATST. So let's start with what you can bring. The limit is very extreme, but it can be a ton of fun in the rules. For a commander, we have an Imperial officer only, so you're always going to be taking at least one. For special forces, we have scout troopers only, no strike teams. For core, we have stormtroopers. For support, 74-Z speeder bikes. And for heavy, we have ATSTs and Major Marquand, our new unique character. Getting into the numbers, you must include at least 1 to 2 commander units. You can bring up to 2 Imperial officers pretty much, but that's not really needed. Special forces must have at least 2 scout troopers, which is kind of nice because scout troopers are actually pretty good, but they can go up to 6, which can be a lot of fun. Core must have at least 1. And support, each army may include up to 3, so up to 3 speeders, and heavy is the exact same way, up to 3 heavies. This leads to a lot of fun theory crafting, which we will get into shortly, because I love the idea of these lists. They're limited in a fun way. Now the special rules of the Battle Force are a ton of fun. All vehicles gain Scout 2, which is absolutely amazing with your speeder bikes already. Units that are not in command range of a friendly commander unit and do not have a comms upgrade cannot remove suppression during the remove token step. It is a very, very thematic limitation that I actually rather like, and forces you to build the army a little different than you normally would. During setup, you can choose to not deploy your special forces and support units, and then place them face down beyond range 2 of enemies when the respective order is drawn. I absolutely love this. It is amazing. However, the only problem is the unit is treated as activated and its order token is placed face down. So, you could play something poorly and have it shot to hell. Be careful with that part. That being said, the fact that you can choose however many each turn to do this, or each game, I should say, to do this, fantastic. Going into the new unique Tempest Force command cards, they are great. Drive them out, which is its 1 pip. Friendly vehicles gain Demoralize 1, which is an amazing way to give an enemy unit suppression. Also, the first vehicle to displace an enemy unit also has a good chance to murder a good chunk of them by rolling a white dice and making them suffer wounds. We Need Reinforcements is great as all friendly units that are issued a face-up order get disengaged. It is a fantastic movement buff. Constantly Alert gives you 1 aim token for each enemy unit at range 1. If you don't gain aim tokens, get Standby. Again, fantastic, and that's only to the 3 units that it's issued orders to as well. All of these are good. They're good movement buffs. They keep you moving. They keep the enemy from wanting to get too close to you. Honestly, in a mainly melee meta, this is a really good way to counter those forces. And I say mainly melee because that's what a lot of my local group is running. So that's the meta I have to counter. I know the current meta kind of sort of reflects that, but it is what it is. Major Marquand is very interesting, as there are really the only other ones besides generic Empire you can bring, and the Tempest Force ones, of course. Gunner, Infantry, reduces speed by 1, but gains tactical 1 and suppressive, so it's a decent trade-off and can do pretty well against infantry. Squadron on Me gives friendly vehicles a free pivot and speed 1 move, useful as a starter depending on deployment. Armored Cavalry gives buffs to himself depending on friendly vehicles that activate at range 1. Either a dodge, aim, or extra speed 1 move depending on which direction he is facing, depending on where the vehicle activates. So it's like in his different quadrants. Kind of interesting. I don't hate it. Now going into Major Marquand himself, he is a very interesting character. At 190, he is worth taking over a normal ATST at 195 every time. Don't even question it, just take him. Direct lets you get 1 extra order to a vehicle, which is always good, and he does have Field Commander, and can only be taken in Tempest Force, so expect to see him in every list because of this. If you're bringing an ATST, you're bringing him instead of a normal one, because you kind of have to. As an ATST, he is an ATST. There is nothing really super special he does. He comes with some fixed guns, but they're the better ATST guns anyway, in my opinion. So it is what it is. I don't think this is bad. I actually think this is rather nice, but it is what it is. Some people might not like it. Now, going into the part of this that makes me super happy is the theory crafting. The first one is a Tempest Force mixed. You could bring an Imperial officer, a Stormtrooper, 2 Scout Troopers for that minimum, 3 speeder bikes, Major Marquand, and an ATSD. This is a nice little mix. It's more vehicle happy, but it's a mix of vehicles, and it's most of what you can bring. It could let you forward deploy 5 units just across the battlefield to mess with the enemy. Or you could deploy them all like normal and get a whole bunch of extra speed moves with the speeder bikes. There are so many things you could do with this that it's amazing. However, one thing I found while doing the points references on this is Major Marquand is almost always worth taking just for the point value alone. Next up is a fun little list I call all ATST because it's 3 ATSTs, because you can do that now. And someone out there who has 3 ATSTs is listening to me talking right now and going, yes, I can finally run them. I knew my painting and hobbying had a reason to exist. We have an Imperial officer, a Stormtrooper, 2 Scout Troopers. I tossed in a speeder bike for fun. And if you notice, I have a lot of them take the comm upgrade, just in case, just to be safe. We have Major Marquand, 2 ATSTs. One ATST has upgrades, one does not. You could probably swap out different upgrades to make them slightly better or worse. I kind of made this in just 5 minutes to see what I could do. I like it. I like stuff like this. And the final one is the list I would run. It would be an Imperial officer with commanding presence to kind of yoink away some of the issues with the comms, Major Marquand, and then a whole bunch of Scout Troopers and speeder bikes. 4 Scout Troopers and 3 speeder bikes, upgraded in this very specific way, one with a sniper, one with a charge saboteur, and the others is normal, means I can forward deploy 7 units across the battlefield, away from range 2 from enemies, however I want. This does mean they can't shoot turn 1, however turn 1 shooting, it is what it is. I don't think I'd ever deploy all 7 forward like that. But you could. You could mess with the enemy depending on what they get and make it so it's so much harder for them. I like this idea. I love it. I want to run it. It's just expensive for me to get into a brand new army when I already have other armies I haven't finished painting yet. Why does AMG have to release good rules? Anyway, let's continue. As you can probably tell from my tone of voice this entire time, I love it so much. I love Tempest Force. Those are my final thoughts. It is a super buff-heavy vehicle battle force, which is amazing. I want something like this for the Republic. I want it for the Separatists. I love vehicles in any war game. And another reason to bring them in something like Legion is welcome, where they're usually kind of overcosted and can be easily countered. I mean, if you bring Ion at least. I mean, these can still be countered with Ion, so it's not like impossible, but it's a fun way to run it. And I really, really want to buy the units needed to make this list, which says a lot considering I don't collect Empire currently. Thematic lists are like this are what inspires people to start war games. Someone out there with 3 ATSTs is super, super happy, as I previously said. Again, you can listen to me. You hear that I'm enjoying this, but I would love to hear in the comments below what you guys think about this. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Do you wish AMG would do something other than battle forces? Let me know. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and have a good weekend. Bye all.